you don't have to be rich to pay the majority of the bills. Okay. And this is the reason, this is when I stand on my shit. I was married and I paid the majority of the bills, and I was like 22 years motherfucking old. We had a big ass house in the suburbs. I had 2 cars, and she had her own car. I bought rims, put rims on her fucking car. We had an extra money to do different shit with. So, and I wasn't rich. I made about what? You know, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000 a year. It wasn't even a lot of money. But of course, granted, back then, you know, the mortgage was like $800 a month, little shit like that. So it wasn't crazy. But for this bum to sit here and say the majority of us aren't rich makes him a bum, because you don't have to be rich. You have to be a man. That's really all you have to do. And you literally have a woman follow you, and you run the household like a well-oiled motherfucking machine.
Mr. Leco.
Hold on. And of course, the marriage didn't work out. So now y'all gonna say, well, why you get married? Why you do that? Fuck all that. All I'm saying is I ran the household like a well-oiled machine. I paid the majority of the bills. She was good. My kids was good. My kids are good now. And I did it. So for all of you bums out here who think you gotta be rich to pay the majority of the bills, like something's wrong with y'all. Because one last thing, the reason why it's important for you as a man to pay the majority of the bills, you have to have, if you want it, the majority to say so. So if you paying half of the bills, you got half of the goddamn say so. So you're a lesbian lover with the woman instead of a goddamn husband. Y'all
Mr. Lego, first of all, we already covered this about 9, 10, 15 episodes ago. She was covering enough of those bills where you needed her money. We already covered this. We already talked about this. You were full of shit. You needed her money. You are full of shit. We already covered this. You needed her money just as much as she needed yours.
What are you talking about?
We already covered this when you tried to say that bullshit that you paid all the bills on $50,000 a year. That was cap. Her money was just as important as yours.
Well, I said I paid the majority of the bills.
Majority can be 51%.
No, I paid 80% of the bills.
And you still needed her for 20.
That's my only point.
Still valuable.
50-50. 50-50 is trash. Pay 80-20 or don't be with a woman. That's my point. She paid the light bill, gas bill, and her car note.
That's a lot of goddamn shit. And her car and her health insurance and the clothes for the kids and the food. No, we already covered this. We already covered this, bro. We ain't got to revisit. We already covered this. Come on, man.
We know 80-20 household.
Let me go to get Jasmine in there, Marcus.
Nigga be capping, boys.
I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, but I don't mind the 50-50 situation. Like if I'm making a good amount of money, but I would prefer the 80-20 situation. Like I would definitely prefer a 70-30 situation. You know, just for preference purposes.
But you said no, Jasmine. You said no to me.
I said no. Come on now. I do need tires right. Yeah, you know, because you know I be paying all my stuff, so I need tires. But you know, it would be nice to have that situation. But I mean, it's understandable. I'm not about to have that conversation. I mean, I guess that's the type of conversation you need to have now on dates. Like, hey, how do you look at things? Like, do you prefer things 50-50? Do you prefer to, you know, pay all the bills? Let me just say this. I feel like a lot of us come from a situation where we haven't experienced, let's say, men that think like you, where it's like, well, I want to pay all the bills, or I want to take care of the home, or like a lot of y'all are married. We haven't experienced husbands yet. We haven't experienced, you know, good men that we would look to as a husband in that way yet. So it's like we've been out here being independent, taking care of ourselves, paying all the bills, doing everything. So it's put us in the space where it's like, I'm okay with 50-50 at this point because I've been paying 100. So it's like anything helps, but it definitely would be nice to be in a softer space where you can be like 70-30, 60-30.
Okay.
All right. So he was speaking to the majority of people in relationships, right? And I don't think that dude was a bum. I think he was actually speaking to the reality of life, right? What he was saying is, the last thing he ended on was, let's stop the division and let's come together. And I think it's important to understand why he said that, because two become one. So 50,000 and 50,000 become 100,000, not 50,000 and then discretionary spending for one person. When two become one, you unite and you move through life like that. The reason why I say it wouldn't matter if I was in a relationship, my wife made $100 million and I made 200,000 is because two would be one and the relationship would still function appropriately. Anytime you get into a position where you say, if my wife makes more money than me, or if she is able to contribute to the finances, then I no longer am a man. You setting yourself up for failure, because then you're dependent on making sure she doesn't succeed or do better than you. And that's not the way you run a relationship, where you're competing and trying to make sure you keep her under thumb and limit her success. If she has the opportunity to excel, you encourage her and you support that, and you do your thing as well. I don't think it's healthy to tell people that they should hope that the person they with is always in a lower position and not want to elevate them. That's not supportive, and that's not how functioning people who want to see the best for each other would move, right? So no, I think he's right. I think it shouldn't be a 50-50 conversation. It should be a one household conversation. You both have to help with the kids in this day and age. You both have to do certain things. It's a one household situation. And this whole 50-50 creates a division. Matter of fact, 50-50 is division, but you know what? It equals out to one. Back to that. 50-50, it equals out to one, which is the only thing it should have been.
Go ahead, Pink Pineapple.
Yeah, God, I hate to just be so indifferent. It's dependent upon your financial bracket. And once again, I go back to saying that if you're not financially stable, you should not be in a relationship, let alone a marriage. I'm not saying that you can't grow together. I'm not saying that it won't work. I'm just saying that you should be a person that can take care of yourself, so that there's no codependency, so that there's no issues, so there's no complaint, so that when you do find someone who allows you to live in your femininity or not have to pay 100% of the bills, whatever that looks like for you, that you can still take care of it. God forbid they leave you. Like I think she said earlier, she doesn't want women to be so dependent upon a man to where like they can't do without them. I believe in being a soul functioning individual, so that God forbid if you die, if I leave you, if you leave me, if anything happens, that I don't miss a beat without you. Not that I'm not hurt, not that I'm not, going through it, but that financially there's not going to be anything that really relatively changes in my life or my children's life because something happens between us. If we decide to be together and we both know that we're broke or, struggling to make it, I understand a 50-50 complex so that we can just get to where we need to go and be a unit. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if this is what we chose to do and we know that we're not in a financially decent situation, let's just do the best that we can until we get to a place where my man is now making more money and can take care of all of the bills.
Why are we